Hey. Hey. Thank you for checking the video out. My name's Darren. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And yeah, welcome to CCEditLab. Edit with me, episode 5. Yeah, really appreciate you joining, checking out the video. And I hope that you do learn something if you're wanting to learn about photography editing. So that's what this is about, pretty much just editing a photo with me. So what we do is we share a raw image, and in this case this is my raw image that I took, and yeah, we share it on our Discord group and amongst anyone who wants to join, share the raw image, and then we all go and edit it how we feel that the image, like how we want to edit the image, and then we share that, and Antonio and I film our edits every second week and share it, and yeah, just to inspire and encourage and help other photographers out. I've been doing photography for 2 years, since August 2020, so I'm not a professional by any means. I'm just a little bit better than amateur. And yeah, you'll see that often I just slide things around to figure out what they do. So that's what creativity is for me, is just figuring, like playing with things until you figure out, that looks cool. So yeah, if you're starting out, I hope that encourages you. Don't be afraid to just play around, and that's also the beauty of digital, like mirrorless, like new technology, is that we have where we can non-destructively edit an image, and we can edit it 1,000 times, and each time will be different. So yeah, we're really blessed and fortunate to have that. So I'm going to be editing on my iPad Pro with my pencil, Apple Pencil. I absolutely love editing on my iPad Pro. It's so fun and intuitive, and it just makes sense. And I got Lightroom open on my iPad Pro, so I think let's go and get at the image. Excuse me. If you'd like, you can pause the video here quickly, check out the description, get the Discord link, go into the Discord community and download the raw file and edit along with me if you'd like. If not, that's all cool. Watch the edit. Let me know if you learned anything, or let me know if there's any tips you could give me. I'm always open to learning, wanting to learn more. This image is called The Path, and I'm pretty sure you can guess why. So what I like to do first up is go into optics and remove chromatic aberration and enable lens correction. And this image I don't think has much chromatic aberration, but it's just a standard thing that I do when I edit any photo. And then I want to go check out the profiles. I'm going to use the landscape picture profile just because it is a bit of a landscape photo. It's got greens and browns and some purple, and you'll find that landscape generally adds a bit more detail and sharpness and saturation to those. So if you just looked between standard is pretty flat, and if you look at the greens, they're not as saturated, and then you go to landscape, the greens kind of come out a bit more, so I like choosing landscape. And then what I'm going to do, so I'm going to up the exposure a bit, just so that the whole image seems a little bit better exposed. And I'm going to open up the blacks as well, because I'm going to use the curve to add in the contrast. I'm not going to do it so much here. I'm going to add a little bit in contrast just for overall, but I'm actually going to be using the curve tool to add in the contrast. And I'm going to up the shadows here a bit, just so that the scene reduce the whites, because there's some areas that are a little bit overexposed. So let's go into curves, choose the white, or the white curve. It's actually just the light curve. And what I'm going to do is add 2 points in here, the shadows and in the highlights. And I'm going to drop down here in the shadows and pick up in the highlights a little bit. And you can see that's made a huge difference and added in a lot of contrast just overall, but I think maybe a little bit too much. And I just want to see here. This is me playing around, seeing what it actually does to the image. I mean, this is, maybe look at that, that's just ridiculous. So that's, but that's how you learn. Excuse me, sorry, I've been sick for a while now, so just have the sniffles, and yeah. Yeah, I think that's enough playing around actually. And if you bring up the left on the light curve, you get a bit of a matte feel. But I think I don't want the matte feel as much. So I'm gonna, no man. There you go. And then if you play around with the RGB curves as well, you can give the image a pretty decent color grade just with using those. Like red, if you bring it down, it's going to be green, and if you push it up, it's going to be red. Green, if you bring it down, it's going to be magenta, and if you push it up, it's going to be green. So you can play around with all of these and kind of do opposing S curves. So if on the red curve you have the bottom is up and the top is down, you can switch those around on the green just to kind of oppose. And then blue is, if you push down it's yellow, and if you push up obviously it's blue. So I want to use some of the yellow in the shadows because you kind of want it to look like a warm, just get the warmth coming out there. Cool. Now I want to add some texture to the trees, a little bit of clarity overall, and then let's do color. So we're going to add in some saturation, so a little bit of vibrancy, maybe a much. There we go. And then I do want to do a color grade. So we want the shadows to be yellow because we want it to be warm. So I'm going to lift those up. And the midtones also kind of want to be yellow, but maybe a little bit more to the orange side of things. And then the highlights. Let's see. Actually, the highlights we kind of want yellow. The shadow, sorry, we actually want it green. Let's go. Because there we go. And then highlight, sorry, we wanted a little bit of a blue, just to, no, orange is a bit much. Yeah, sorry, well, yellow. Or lost my mind there. And then overall, we kind of want like a warm feel to it. So I'm gonna just up the global yellow and just reduce the luminance there a touch. And if we just tap and hold, that's before and that's after, you can see it's quite yellow. So I want to also just reduce the magenta there, and in the yellow here, just reduce that saturation a touch and the luminance of it. And in green, I think I want to reduce the saturation of the green, just so that it's not so in your face green. And just make it a bit of a darker green. There we go. Okay. Now, so we've upped the texture and the clarity. Now what I want to do is paint in a mask with the Apple Pencil and just along the street to kind of separate that. So this is where iPad Pro and Lightroom with the pencil just is amazing. So increase the size of my brush a little bit, and I think I want a bigger feather. And then I'm just going to draw along the street, and this is so easy and so cool to use with the Apple Pencil, just so much easier than on a computer with a mouse, just drawing over the area that you want to adjust a little bit. I think and then just make this a bit smaller so I can get this man in. Just don't want them to stand out too much. And then what I'm going to do is just increase the clarity. You'll see that should make the shadows really stand out nicely, and some texture and a little bit of contrast, and reduce the whites and open up the blacks a little bit, just so that the path kind of stands out. I also want to reduce the highlights. There we go, that's looking cool. So before and after, and it's looking like a warm, almost old school image, just a warm day with some sunlight peeking through the trees there, and you can see there's some overexposed areas on the tree here, so I could bring down the whites a little bit more, and you see you start to and bring down the highlights. That makes a big adjustment, and yeah, I think that looks really cool. Before and after, and that's my, actually wait, before ending, what I want to do is I want to add in a linear gradient along the sides here, just with that bigger feather, just to create a little bit of depth in the image, because to linear gradient on the other side as well, just so we reduce the exposure here a touch of the contrast, just so that it adds a little bit of depth to the image. And I think I also want to add a little bit of a vignette. There we go. Maybe a little bit too much. There we go. So that's good. Now, sorry, before and after, just add a bit of depth, adding those linear gradients and like bringing down the exposure there in the foreground just accentuates the path and like the depth of the photo. So that's my edit. I've actually, to be fair, I've filmed this edit 3 times now, because the first time I didn't have my mic on because I'm a clown. The second time I was not screen recording on my iPad, so, and third time's a charm. So yeah, I mean, I feel like a right fool, but that's me, that's how we learn. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this and just had fun. Like, subscribe, let me know how you think, or let me know what you think of the image and of my editing process. Give me some tips if you have any, or let me know what inspired you or what I do differently that maybe you think you can try implement into your editing. And let's just keep making stuff. That's what this is about. So thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, thanks.